Parallel met de landingsbaan gebleven. En dan gaan we hier volgen, blijven parallel met de actieve landingsbaan.
Volume level 2.
Ready for takeoff, all speeds and
Selling drones nowadays has become a booming business. Nowadays you find them in stores everywhere basically. In fact, they make the process of taking footage with a camera, for instance for entertainment purposes, much more efficient and even attractive. Drones have the potential to significantly impact our daily lives as citizens.
The next waypoint, waypoint 4, I'll need to take over the payload control. Zooming in with tower.
The advantage of a flexible camera is that it's not restricted to specific angles. In fact, it makes inspections much more dynamic.
Security companies use them for crowd management at festivals. Police use them for monitoring demonstrations like we had recently in Belgium. Public and private companies are using them as an extra set of eyes to monitor their assets. So it's everyday use.
Well, it's becoming more and more obvious to more and more companies that drones can hugely increase efficiency, specifically in high-risk environments. You can think about, for example, inspection of power grids, inspection of windmills, offshore windmills. Sizing up piles in road infrastructure is something that drones can do a lot cheaper than any other technology.
Today, the flight is all about demonstrating that it can be done with an acceptable risk. Now we need to scale up and do more of these type of flights. There's a big difference between flying BVLOS or flying VLOS. VLOS means you're flying in visual line of sight, so you can basically see the drone at all times and all the surroundings around it. When we're talking about long distance flights, we're talking about BVLOS flights, then it's beyond visual line of sight. You no longer have eye contact, you can no longer actually see it, but you're using a computer or an ops room to manipulate the drone.
There's a technology that has become more and more mature recently, and it's called drone in a box. It's actually pretty simple. It's a drone that resides in a docking station where it gets automatically charged, where it's protected from the weather environment, and where the role of the operator obviously becomes of managing the whole system, where there's no need to send a pilot on site. You can basically deploy the drone coming out of its box, and that's what it literally means, drone in a box.
In the old regulatory framework, BVLOS flights are basically a no-go. The main concern they had was the fact that you no longer see your craft in the air. It's also very difficult to assess what's going on around the aircraft, and then it's becoming increasingly difficult to guarantee a safe flight.
Well, to get an approval for a BVLOS flight from the Belgian Civil Aviation Authority is not an easy task to accomplish, because of course there's no seeing and avoiding. What the BCA then requires is you to be using a set of technical services that basically replace that see and avoid by detect and avoid. There's an additional challenge that needs to be met, and it's not only avoiding collisions with crewed traffic, but also avoiding collisions between drones as they become so numerous. And that's exactly what the U-Space concept is all about, is adding the scalability factor, meaning a lot of flights occurring simultaneously while still safeguarding safety.
Certified U-Space service providers will take care of the management of drone traffic in the lower airspace, the so-called U-Space airspace. And these U-Space service providers will offer their services in a competitive market where drone operators will be able to select the U-Space service provider of their choice.
Well, Skies will still continue to play its role in the U-Space arena, be it in a slightly different role. It will no longer manage individual drone flights, but it will rather manage airspaces and actually pieces of airspace where either drones can fly or crewed air traffic can fly. So it's either one or the other. And it's a concept that is called dynamic airspace reconfiguration, which on its own is an integral part of the U-Space concept.
It also has a very important legal component through which both member states and their respective national civil aviation authorities on the one hand, but also airspace users, both crewed and uncrewed, and service providers, both air navigation service providers and U-Space service providers, are connected.
It provides a framework for scalable flight authorizations and it mitigates all the risk.
With SkeyDrone we are very proud to play a key role in this European U-Space project. In fact, we are in the process of making uncrewed flights become scalable. And I think it's fair to say that with Belgium we are in the top 4 or 5 countries being at the forefront of realizing this evolution.